Has Hansle Parchment learned his lessons? Welcome back to the channel, people. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for making it Peter Lloyd World. Now go ahead, please hit that subscribe button so we can continue to grow. When you do that, go in and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video drops. We drop a video at least once a day here on Peter Lloyd World. Also, if you enjoy the content, please hit that like button. And finally, leave your thoughts. After this, sports analysis, where we take a look at and we break down the races. So, are you ready? Yep, good to go. Arguably going into the World Championship 2022, which was held in Eugene, Oregon in the United States. The one medal that we were certain of from the Jamaican male was from this man, the Olympic 110-meter hurdlist, Hansle Parchment. Parchment made this post, which kind of, listen people, it kind of caught my attention, which is why I said, has he learned his lesson? In his post he wrote, this season was filled with ups and downs, but the most important thing is that it was lined with lessons that I have no doubt helped to form me into a better athlete. I'm forever humbled by the support of my fans, loved ones, sponsors, and other well-wishers. Enough love. So, has Hansle Parchment learned his lesson? And what lesson was that? Look, to be very frank, we were sort of thinking about this, and we're not sure what lesson it was that Hansle Parchment needed to learn. Because the truth is, he was right. He had a good but up and down season. So, King Hansle Parchment, what is a lesson that you're referencing? Okay, so I know that life gives us lessons, but in my humble opinion, you had a really, really exceptional season. Now, of course, there were clearly issues. I mean, obvious issues. You did state in another post, you wrote, as I reflect on my achievements, I'm grateful for every step I take towards elevation. Apologies. Look, Hansle Parchment had a remarkable season, people, but in the very end, at the very end of the season, some pretty weird stuff occurred, you know, things that it's really hard to kind of explain and or understand. The truth is, what caught my attention about this, when one tends to make these kind of statements, you're thinking, okay, he did something wrong, he made some horrific mistake he shouldn't have done, and as a result of making this mistake, that's why the season sort of ended the way it ended. But Hansle, King Parchment, in my humble opinion, and this of course is just my 2 cents, I don't really think you made much of any kind of errors and or mistake. The truth is, you opened your season at the National Stadium with a wonderful win, solid time, and you went on to have a winning season. You were unbeaten, if my memory serves me correctly, for the entire season, right up until the point where the incident happened, the accident happened. You were warming up at the finals. We are very certain here at Peter Lloyd World, myself and the team, that you'd have won at least a silver, but we believe that you would have more won a gold. And you got an injury. No fault of your own. I'm not quite sure if you're referencing maybe your warm-up wasn't correct, because that's not impossible. Maybe you did something wrong. But in terms of your season, it was picture perfect. It was a great season. That injury could have happened to almost anyone, and unfortunately, it happened to you right at that moment. Remember, Mr. Parchment, great king, we saw Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce right before one of her races pull out because of the same issue. There was some cramping in her legs, and yes, after you did tell us, and your team told us, you know, your fans and us, the media, that there was no real injury. It was more like a leg cramp, if my memory serves me correctly. And yes, after that, the rest of your season didn't go well. Your time in the Diamond League just was not very good. But I can't imagine, King Parchment, that basically what happened is just the thought, because we know you went through years of recovery from a hamstring injury. I think it was a hamstring injury. It could have been something else. My great ones who follow us here, if I'm wrong, if it's not a hamstring injury, tell me, but I know it took Hansle Parchment some time to recover. And I can imagine, I keep talking about the psychological impact of injury, that it's not just physiological, but if it was horrific and it took a long time to recover from, just the mere thought of being injured again will probably throw it off that athlete for the rest of their entire season. And on a personal level, I think that's what happened with him. We remember, King Hansle Parchment, that you pulled out, yourself and your team decided to pull out in the finals of the Commonwealth Games, where you were running really well, because I don't remember if it was that it was cold or there was some issue, and I don't want to state otherwise. But what I'm really saying is, great King Hansle Parchment, is that the truth is, I'm not quite sure what the lessons were, apart from the fundamental life lessons that we all have on a day-to-day basis. You had a great season. It's just that at that moment, right before what would have been the biggest race for your 2022 season, you picked up a cramp that your team did the right thing and pulled you out of the race, because we didn't want anything, you know, untoward to happen to you. So I guess what I'm saying is, I hope it's just life lessons, and I hope you're not blaming yourself for what occurred. I mean, unless there's something that I'm not aware of and that you have not shared with us. Maybe you did something in the warm-ups before that you shouldn't have done, and that might have led to the injury or the cramp right before the finals of the men 110 meters hurdles at the World Championships. So, is there a lesson for you to really learn outside of the fundamental life lessons that everybody learns, well, should learn on a day-to-day basis or throughout any season? From our humble viewpoint, you were unbeaten pretty much the entire season, right up until that final race in the finals of the men's 110 meter hurdles, where you had that cramp. And then I think psychologically you were thrown off. So maybe the life lesson you're referencing is what? Mental fortitude? But I think it would have taken great mental fortitude for you to have come back from that horrific injury. Now I see where you are swimming. I saw that in one of your stories, and you're building back. You know, you're doing the thing that you did to get you to where you've gotten to. I think if you get beyond the psychological barrier, Hansle Parchment, you're going to have a great 2023. Yes, I think you know that the entire island was waiting for you to give us that one male athlete medal that we were certain of. So we were a little disappointed. But in terms of life lessons, yes. In terms of lesson learned, I'm not quite sure what the lesson would have been. Because you had a great season. I think you represented the island very, very well. And I think 2023 is going to be great. But this, of course, is my 2 cents. Let me know what everybody here thinks. Do you think that he made some terrible mistake in the 2022 season, and that's why what happened to him? Or if someone knows something that I'm unaware of, or we here at Peter Lloyd are unaware of, could you let us know? So, did he learn his lesson? Maybe life lessons, but I'm not quite sure what other lessons he could have learned. Now, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. And I have to tell you all, thank you so very much for your continuous support. It means a lot. For the comments, still learning a lot. Please keep sharing, please keep talking. Remember, you are royals, kings and queens. Bless up!